Hello guys and welcome to Odds on Bundesliga. We are ready for the 16th match day. We have games in the midweek, only 2 rounds to go to the Christmas break, and of course we have Radek Vegas with us. How are you, Radek?
Hi Eduardo, I'm fine and expecting a lot of goals and surprises as we've seen in the recent games in the Bundesliga, and we're getting closer to Christmas, pre-last game day before winter break, so maybe we see some really interesting games.
Yes, 2 games to go to the Christmas break, also 2 games to finish the first round of games to arrive to the equator of the Bundesliga. So let's analyze all 9 games with Radek, and of course with you. Ask any question to him. Don't forget also to comment the video with your tips, and of course support us by pressing on the like and subscribing to our channel. So now let's go on with the show. And in a few hours, actually on Tuesday, we have already 4 games, starting with the champions, the leader. They have a big gap now on top of the table after the victory against Borussia Dortmund. Also, they won the last game, of course, against Mainz, so they will arrive to the Christmas break with the Bundesliga in the pocket, ready to face, I guess, the Champions League last 16 round. But before, they have to beat Stuttgart, who got a massive victory against Wolfsburg in their last game. What do you expect in this Stuttgart-Bayern Munich? Good game to start this match day.
Yeah, the odds are crystal clear, and I don't think Bayern is so highly motivated in this game because they have enough points before in advantage to Dortmund, 6 points. So they only need 1 point to make the winter championship, the so-called Herbstmeisterschaft in Germany, which is not in the autumn. That's why that this is a wrong word. But anyway, Bayern Munich, unstoppable. But as we've seen against Mainz, they are not playing 100% against the minor teams. They are rotating a lot to not risk some injuries in this unimportant games, and this can be a chance for Stuttgart. I don't think they will win this game, but maybe they can keep it close. So having a look at the Asian handicaps on Stuttgart might be interesting, but that's not the thing I want to bet on, because I think, as we've seen in the last games, the defense of Bayern Munich is not rock solid, and they allow the opponents to score, especially if the opponent is playing in their home stadium. And that's why I think both teams to score is a good option. We get odds of 1.8 here, and we need Stuttgart to score, and I think this is it's not impossible.
We saw Bayern Munich, for instance, losing against Augsburg because, as you say, they rotate, they relax a lot against minor teams. Then I love the odds for the next game. Actually, Arminia, well, Larry, by the way, before we go, is telling us Stuttgart to win 3-2. You have good odds, of course, someone trusting Stuttgart for this game, and Bayern over 1.5 goals. I guess we all expect Bayern to score at least 2 goals in every single Bundesliga game. Radek, and I was introducing our next game, Arminia Bielefeld Bochum, and I was saying that I love the odds for Bochum. I don't understand why they are not favorites to this game, because they are they got a beat Augsburg
I can't hear you really good. I hope it's not my connection. And if you can hear me and Eduardo is gone, I hope it's not the earthquake he talked about before in Bali.
I'm back.
Are you
I'm
fine?
back.
Oh, hopefully. I thought it's the earthquake you talked about.
Not yet. I was saying that I love the odds, Radek, for Bochum because they are in great form, and Arminia Bielefeld is the only team without a victory this season at home in the Bundesliga.
Yeah, and interesting, you said that Bayern Munich should score in every game at least twice, but they didn't against Bielefeld. They only won 1-0 against Bielefeld, and that's maybe a point why Bielefeld has better odds than Bochum. They are not winning games, but they are really hard to beat. They really playing solid defense, and they managed only to get one goal against Bayern Munich. Compare the result of Bayern Munich versus Bochum when Bayern Munich scored 7 times against Bochum in this season. And so maybe this is a kind of argument for that. And Bielefeld at home is not really bad. They collected most of their points at home and had some draws, for example, against Wolfsburg when Wolfsburg was better, and now they lost 5 times in a row. But anyway, yes, I also like the odds on Bochum because in this case, we have to bet on the trend because Bochum is one of the biggest surprises in the season. We've seen a lot of surprises. If you have a look at the standings, we have Freiburg, we have Union Berlin, we have even Hoffenheim on spot 4. And we have Bochum on place 10, a thing no one expected about 4 weeks before. And they seem to be a clear team going down back in League 2. So if they have this kind of odds here in this game, I would say we can bet on draw no bet on Bochum. We get odds of 2.2. Means we get our money back if there's a draw, which is highly likely in this game. But anyway, we have to ride the trend and support Bochum with this bet because they were super strong against Borussia Dortmund last week. And in this shape, they should beat Bielefeld.
Okay, let's go for Bochum or Bochum Asian Handicap 0, as you said, or Bochum double chance is for 𝐬𝐴𝐵, another option for sure with lower odds. Always then we have Mainz, Hertha, Berlin, and here we find Mainz really favorite, odds 1.9 after their good game against Bayern Munich, even taking the lead. Their last home game was a victory against Wolfsburg, but Hertha, they are struggling the whole season, but they are a bit better in the last weeks. They beat Bielefeld after 2 draws in a row, only 2 defeats in the last 8 games. So perhaps also Hertha can get some points out of this game.
Yeah, it's not impossible. And the only reason to think about betting on the underdog or maybe Asian handicap on the underdog here with the high odds of Hertha is because the odds on Mainz are really bad. And we all know Mainz is performing really good. At home, especially, they are one of the, I think, 5 best teams in the league. I have to have a look. Yeah, 6th best team in the league, only 1 loss at home, and only 5 conceded goals. And I think this is the point why Mainz is this favorite. But on the other hand, I don't trust low odds under 2 on teams like Mainz, and I don't play this or I don't bet money on Mainz, and I really don't bet money against Mainz at home, and that's why this is a no bet for me. I can think about both teams to score because the odds are really high for that, around 2-0. I like this most here because we get high odds, but it's it's not my favorite game. I think there are better games on this game day to bet on.
Let's check then the next one, Wolfsburg, Cologne, 2 teams that are really in poor form, especially Wolfsburg. After saying goodbye to Van Bommel, they reacted with Kofel, but now they are completely bad, actually. 5 consecutive defeats in all competitions, 3 consecutive defeats in the Bundesliga, but Cologne, they are not better after losing with Augsburg, before also only drew against Bielefeld, only 1 victory in the last 8 games. Oh, difficult to put our money in any of these teams.
Yeah, sure. And if it's this way, draw is a good option because you get the highest odds on draws with 3.8. Only bet a third of a unit on a draw, and you can win 1 unit and don't risk too much if it's wrong. And betting on Wolfsburg is no option. Would you bet on a team who lost 5 consecutive games in a row and is on spot 11? Cologne also, is on spot 12, not really an option to speculate on a win of Cologne now. So in my eyes, the only option is a draw, and everything else is just hands off. And I
draw. Then let it be draw. Also, we go to the games we have on Wednesday, and if Wolfsburg and Cologne, they are in bad form, what to say about Gladbach? I cannot understand also why are they favorites for this game, really favorites. Gladbach, Frankfurt, they lost 4-1 against Leipzig, 3 consecutive defeats, conceding 14 goals. So I guess also 𝐿𝐴𝐧𝐧𝐬𝐿 is getting his job at stake in these last 2 games before the Christmas break. And Frankfurt, they are reacting a lot in the last weeks. Actually, last 5 Bundesliga games, 4 victories, 1 defeat. They came back against Leverkusen with a great victory, 5-2. Let's put our money on Eintracht. I really like the odds for this game.
Yeah, I think it's it's kind of insane, and I think the bookmakers didn't watch a lot of Gladbach games in the recent time. They conceded 14 goals in 3 games. They lost 6-0 against Freiburg, 4-1 against Leipzig. But we have to remember, this is the same team which beat Bayern Munich in the cup game 5-1. And I don't know what's happening since then, because as you said, 𝐿𝐴𝐧𝐬𝐿 is really in trouble if they don't make at least 1 win or 1 good game before Christmas. I think he will not celebrate Christmas at Gladbach and maybe home in Austria. And ironically, they are playing against Frankfurt here, which is the last team of 𝐿𝐴𝐧𝐬𝐿, and he was in critics leaving Frankfurt after saying, "Oh, I won't leave and I love Frankfurt." And it seems it was a huge mistake, and I don't understand why Gladbach is that bad. And it's really a pity, because they have everything you want. You have great players, you have an awesome coach, and a big tradition, great fans, great audience, and everything else. But at the end, they are really in crisis, and everything else than betting on Frankfurt here with these odds is impossible. And on the other hand, we can understand that the bookmakers give Gladbach good odds because they won the last game against Frankfurt this 1 year ago, or this year in April, 4-0 at home. And to say fair enough that Gladbach at home only lost 1 game at home. And so maybe if you compare home standings and away standings, this is a reason to say, okay, Gladbach is kind of favorite. But we don't have to forget that Frankfurt is number 4 in the standings from away. And that's another reason to bet on Frankfurt, because they are clearly in a better shape. And if we ride the trend, double chance on Frankfurt 1.9 is the best thing to do. But always keep in mind that every trend comes to an end, and the Bundesliga is just crazy and insane. And it won't be a surprise if Gladbach wins 5-0 and makes a strike back or something like that.
Since Bundesliga is crazy and we usually see a lot of goals, Jairash and Godwin are going for over 2.5 goals. The problem is that the odds are quite low, actually 1.72 right now, because seeing what we saw the last weeks in these two teams, of course, we can expect many goals in this Gladbach Frankfurt. Then we have Augsburg Leipzig. This is, yep.
Can I say, yeah, I don't think this is bad, because normally we got odds of 1.6 around for over 2.5 goals. And if you get 1.7 in a game where we can expect a lot of goals, and that's why I think the odds on 1.7 are not bad on betting on over 2.5 goals. And to be honest, I would bet on double chance Frankfurt, but I have some surprise at the end about this game, because I really think why the odds on Gladbach are that low is because the bookmakers know something we don't know. So we are not, we are not smarter than the bookmakers for sure. That's why it's a reason why Gladbach has these odds. And at the end, if you are into stats and into odds like we are from Oddspedia, be aware on home odds of 2.0 to 2.5. It's highly likely that we see a draw here, and just because of the odds, and the bookmakers have a insider tip in this game. And yeah, we have to watch closely, but anyway, I can imagine 2-2 and over 2.5 goals here as well.
Well, you already said that Gladbach beat Eintracht in the last game at home, and that they only lost one game playing at home this season. So there are also some reasons that you analyze why this cannot end in a Frankfurt victory. Then we have Augsburg Leipzig. I was saying that this game is also interesting, because we have low odds, of course, for Leipzig. They are favorites 1.58, but we cannot forget that they are the second worst team playing away in the Bundesliga. No victories playing away from home, but of course they have a new manager. On the other hand, they are visiting Augsburg, who were able, for instance, to beat Bayern Munich in their stadium. So I guess it won't be easy for Leipzig. At one point, they have to win, no, away from home. That's also every trend tends to an end.
Yeah, and amazing that Augsburg is on spot 16 in the standings after they beat Bayern Munich, and they made 7 points in the last 4 games with 2 wins and only 1 loss, and recently beating Cologne at Cologne, and Cologne is really good at home, and that shows me that Augsburg is way under their ability, and they should step up with a good series of games. And the team is not bad, and finally they made some points out of it. And spot 16 is way too bad for Augsburg. On the other hand, now at this stage of the Bundesliga, it's not good to play against Leipzig. If they would have played against Leipzig 1 week or 2 weeks before firing Marsch, I think this would be another thing. But with new coach, Leipzig should perform better. And I think, for Leipzig, it's time to beat the trend and win. And we don't get really good odds on winner on Leipzig, and it's too dangerous because of everything I said. And that's why I don't like favorite bets, and in this case I don't like bets on the underdog or draw as well, because I think Leipzig might win this game close.
Leonard is telling us both teams to score. Leo is going for Augsburg. Of course, we have great odds if you are supporting Augsburg. Consideration. Than
both teams
Leipzig.
To score is really good with 1.77. I think same here in this game as we see in Stuttgart versus Bayern, because close before the break, I think every team wants to show their best, and so I think we see more goals than in other parts of the season.
Augsburg, as you said, they are still in playoff position for the relegation. It's going to be tough, actually, that position. There are a lot of teams involved in the fight to avoid the playoffs. Then our next game, Bayer Leverkusen, Hoffenheim, really good one, the third against the fourth. And here we find Leverkusen really favorites, but the problem with Leverkusen is that this is a team of strikes. No, they hadn't lost in a lot of games after they faced Bayern Munich. Then a lot of defeats in a row. They were coming into a good streak, and again a terrible defeat, 5-2 against Frankfurt, and now they are facing a team that is really informed, like Hoffenheim, 4 victories in a row, facing also good teams. So be careful right now with Hoffenheim.
Absolutely, and the funny thing is that in our German channel we predicted that Frankfurt is winning with 2 goals in advantage with odds of 7.5. Wow. Because it was more like a fun we made, and we don't really like Leverkusen because of these streaks, and they are kind of unpredictable. They, yeah, that's why we had in the past a lot of games winning bets against Leverkusen with Asian handicap minus 1.5. And the reason for this win was just because it's too cold outside, and Leverkusen, how do you call it, mans who are not really mankind, so they're really like, it's too cold and we don't want to play soccer, and Leverkusen is like that. They are not really hard enough to play, and that's why they lost against Frankfurt in my eyes, and conceding 5 goals against them is not what you expect from a team on a Champions League spot, or do you? And that's why it's right, never trust Leverkusen, and especially if they are playing against a team in a good streak like Hoffenheim. But the problem with that is that Hoffenheim is also the second team you can't trust anytime, because how did they manage to get on spot 4? And nobody knows why, because they were so bad at the beginning of the season. And somehow they had a good schedule. They had some easy to beat opponents. They made some points, and they get into a momentum and a trend. And in this game, I really love the odds on draw, because we got odds of 4.35. You can't trust both of the teams, and that's why for me this is a draw. And also a lot of goals, because both teams are completely sick in the brain.
Yeah, over 2.5 goals. Everyone is also betting on that. Actually, Bundesliga, well, Serie A is the league now with averaging more goals, but also in Bundesliga we see many goals. Hoffenheim, they beat also Leipzig and Frankfurt recently. So also big teams. Be careful with this Leverkusen Hoffenheim. Then we have 2 more games, Borussia Dortmund, Furth, and here to find the line, so odds around 2.0, we have to go for Asian handicap minus 2.5, because of course Dortmund playing at home, coming after 2 games without victory. Probably Haaland will be in the pitch. We saw Mino Raiola offering him around the world as well in this week. So I guess we all expect a heavy victory from Borussia Dortmund.
Yeah, but Fürth managed to win their first game last week, and this is something no one expected. And Union Berlin, who is playing a really good season, is the first team giving away 3 points to Fürth. This is why the Bundesliga is so hard to predict. And of course, anything else than a 4-0 or 5-0 against Fürth would be maybe some disappointment for Dortmund. But betting on that is a complete different thing. I don't touch low favorite odds. If the odds on the 3-way bet are so bad, under 1.5 or something like that for the favorite, I don't consider betting on Asian handicaps, because the risk is too high, and we've seen a lot surprises. We have seen a lot of games where the underdog makes it closer than you might think, and so it's too risky. You lose more than you can win with bets on this high Asian handicaps. And on the other hand, betting on an underdog might be attractive, but yeah, even if Fürth now won their first game, I think it's no reason to bet on the last in the standings.
That's for sure. We have other markets, for instance, halftime, full time. If we go for Borussia Dortmund, odds are 1.5. That could be an option. And Dortmund to win both halves, this is more difficult. We have odds 1.87.
Yeah, this is not that bad, but as I said, if the odds on the three-way market on home, draw, and away are so bad, all other odds are bad as well. There is no value to bet on this high favorite, as we've seen so bad games of Dortmund where they were huge favorite, and it's not about winning maybe easy bets. It's always winning bets with good odds, and you don't get good odds in this game. No matter if you win this one bet, at the end it's too risky, and I don't like it. That's why I don't do it, and I don't suggest that anyone should put money on this, and that's why.
All right, we have so many recommendations actually also for this game about goals, Asian handicaps, or a lot. We have to be creative if we want to find good odds for this Dortmund Fürth, and we have better odds in our last game, Union Berlin Freiburg. But as you said, this is another question: which team should we trust? Because Union Berlin, as you said, they were doing a great season. They go and lose against Fürth, and Freiburg, they are falling in the table. 4 defeats in the last 5 games, but their last away game was the 0-6 against Gladbach. So we can be optimistic for both sides, or none.
Yeah, it's another tough game, and it's a interesting constellation. In this game day, we have a lot of games of neighbors in the standings. We have Wolfsburg 11, Cologne 12. We have Leverkusen 3rd against Hoffenheim 4th. And now we have Union Berlin 6 against Freiburg 5th. And I think, we don't have to make it too complicated. A draw is the best option here as well, because we have the highest odds on this, and the probability each team wins is about 30%, and the draw is 30%. And if you have the same probability on every outcome, you have to take the highest odds, and this is just mathematics. And I know that we have historically low odds, a historically low amount of draws in this season. So far, I think regularly we always had about 30 to 40% draws in the last years in the Bundesliga. In this season, we only have 23%. And this is not the end of the season, and that makes me positive that the draws will drop in the next rounds, and in the second leg of the season in the year 2022. And I don't change my strategy. I still believe in draws, because I do this since 5 years. And that's why I think we have a lot of interesting draws, and this is one of them on this game day.
All right, Envano is telling us both teams to score 1.8, or a close game with under 2.5 goals for 𝐬𝐴𝐺𝐬𝐴𝐺. Actually, that pays 1.86. The bookies don't expect many goals in this game, because the over is paid higher with 2.10. Then, Radek, you are telling us that you love draws. We know that, and we make some money out of it. an X. So most of the times also you give us an ACCA with some draws that we can put together, or Asian Handicap 0. So feel free to tell us your ACCA for these midweek games.
Yeah, I already did kind of. I like to combine two draws, and I wasn't that successful in the last rounds, but you can't expect to win every bet because you get odds of 15 around. And my two draws on this game day are Gladbach and Frankfurt, with odds of 3.85, and the other one is Leverkusen versus Hoffenheim, where we get odds of 4.3 for a draw. I don't know why the draw is so highly rated, and in this game also the bookmakers have some idea maybe, and I like the odds of 16.47, and yeah, I'm confident that we see a lot of draws on this game day. My other bets will be Stuttgart, both teams to score against Bayern Munich, and Augsburg, both teams to score against Leipzig. You also can combine this and get odds of around 4 or close to 4. Also an option. I would recommend not to combine a lot of games, because every game more in your ACCA will make it nearly impossible to make profit in the long run. Maybe you win some from day to day one, but it's not about winning one bet or one ACCA. It's about considering a strategy and developing a strategy which makes profit in the long run. And yeah, so watch this channel and we're on a good way.
Thank you, Radek, for your tips and your suggestions and your knowledge about betting and about the Bundesliga. See you also later this week, because we have the latest match day in the 2021 in the Bundesliga. Thanks everyone also for following with us the video. Don't forget, of course, to comment the video and press the like and subscribe to our channel so we can do many more videos. And Radek, see you very soon. Thank you.
See you. Bye. Thanks for watching.